5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Welcome to Go Get Your Shine Box, a gritty, real-world view podcast that tells it like it is. Today we're doing episode 17, the Desantis Connection. Hey guys, what's up?
Hi, welcome to the Jersey Shore, or New Germany, as I like to call it.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing, Jim, Joe?
Great. How's it going, Paul?
Hey, going well.
Dr. Gloom and Doom.
Yes, that's what
Even I let everybody just so that they're prepared that Paul's been having a rough week so far, so you'll have to excuse his belligerence.
No,
today.
I am always that way.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I could lie to you and tell you everything's gonna be fine. I could say that.
Everything is not going to be fine, okay?
No, we are so far away from fucking fine that, we can't see it with a freaking telescope. That's how far we are. Yeah,
I feel you.
There will be no miraculous recovery from this one, I'm thinking.
Keep your powder dry.
Yeah, and more than that here, I was thinking something earlier that I wanted to say to all of our listeners. Times are hard. We've got stagflation right now, recession coming, and I've been watching.
Recession coming?
Well, yeah, we're in a mild recession. That's why they're able to change definitions aside from owning the media and all that. But things are going to get much, much worse. And just remember, hook up with your friends, your family, especially family, because things could get dark in a way that we've never known before. And there's nothing like blood. If you've, had arguments with your family over the politics or the COVID or whatever, try and reach out and mend the fences before it winds up unrepairable. Because
definitely.
you'll need family in the next couple of years, I'm thinking.
Yeah, take a deep breath and think about these lifeless, nihilist, blood-sucking scumbags in Washington, and say to yourself, it's not worth it to lose family over that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Or good friends, for that matter.
Yes, right, exactly. Same thing with friends. I've been estranged from friends, and happily that was fixed. So do the same thing with friends. Yeah.
I have heard it's the old town ways. The easiest way to lose a friend is lend him $20.
Yes.
So sometimes we could deep dive into that in another episode. We'll call it the Wise Guy episode.
Yeah.
So everybody by now has they've heard about the what I'm calling the Desantis Connection.
Brilliant move. A brilliant move.
Brilliant move. You can call it what you want, and of course it all dovetails into the illegals, the attack on the border. In this particular one, where he put a couple of 50 illegals on a jet, 2 jets actually, I believe, and sent them up to Marthas Vineyard. That's up in Massachusetts for you people that live out in LA.
I've flown into that airport. It's a nice airport too, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
I don't get the whole Martha's Vineyard thing. It's an island in the middle of the freaking Northeast, and you can only go there for like 2 months out of the year. I don't understand it, but whatever.
Well, here's the thing. It's almost all white people.
Well,
elitist.
Right. So there's no crime. Nobody's going to knife you in the kidney walking home at night from the beach.
And that's not to imply that white people don't commit crime.
No, just there seems to be a differential, a disproportionate amount committed.
Just say it. Just say it. More crime is committed by black people than white people. That's a fact.
Yeah, well, black and brown people together are something like 20 to 30 times per capita.
Well, actually, if I was to quote the ratio statistic, 58% of the crime is caused by roughly 13% of the people.
Well, actually, 5%. The 13% is male and female of all ages.
Yeah.
The 58% you're talking about is committed by about 5%, which is like 15 to 30-year-old black males. But anyway, be that as it may, let's be honest. This was a political stunt.
Yes, it was an excellent political stunt.
Yes,
I mean,
it was.
It exposed the extreme hypocrisy that we already knew was there.
That's right.
But just laid it out. I mean, really, the illegal aliens. They're illegal aliens.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be there in the first place.
I thought Ron was
over 2 million illegal aliens that cross into our country shouldn't be here in the first place.
Go ahead, Joe. Vent that spleen, baby.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The only reason I mentioned it is because Jim said, "Call it what you will," and if nothing else, our listeners will always get honesty from me. But like Joe said, it was a brilliant political stunt.
See, I disagree. I thought it was an act of a kind humanism on Ron DeSantis' part. I thought he leased very nice. They were very nice jets.
You're always looking to cause trouble, though. You know,
the buses had TVs on them, and they had the Pesha dues. You could even take a poop on the bus if you wanted. And let's face it, these illegals, they're fleeing communism. I was told. So they came up from communism because there's all kind of communism down in Venezuela and Cuba. And where else are they coming from?
Senegal, Somalia, Pakistan.
And like I said earlier, I would not be surprised if a freaking Canadian flew down to Mexico just to come up to the border to say he did. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, I'm being sarcastic.
I'm going to draw the line at freaking Canadians, man.
I know. It's ironic that our northern border is much tighter than our southern border.
What's that guy? That general, whatever, the black guy? He's like a president of Kekistan or whatever. You know the guy I'm talking about? he does the thing about the Canadian flag. He goes, "It's a leaf." I mean, if you don't laugh when that guy laughs, there is something wrong with you.
Plus, you get shot.
Getting back to the Canadian border. Canadian border is shut down tight. You can't get in and out of that place. You got to show ID, passports. It's insane. You can't get through that border.
No, I know.
There are places in the United States that you have to go through Canada to get back to the United States. People are landlocked in there, and they can't even get back and forth. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Right. So anyway, after this invasion of Martha's Vineyard, this is just a little piece from. I'm just going to skim through because it hurts enough grabbing a piece from NBC. Migrants who were flown from Texas to Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, under the new program by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, sued DeSantis. Okay, and I'm going to repeat a little bit of this because it's a little tricky the way they word it. DeSantis, they go on to say he's a Republican, blah 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 blah. So again, I'm going to go back because it confused me because they said migrants, and I was like, migrants are they're the ones that come over the border with the papers. They pick some fruit and they go home. So Ron didn't send any migrants. First of all, he should have sent them to jail because just by being here, they broke the law. But that's maybe that's another show. Maybe it's not. So now you tell me how this Alonzia America.
Jim, can I step in before you finish that off?
Yep.
Just in case anybody isn't aware, after DeSantis sent these 50, 50, that's approximately 10 minutes of what comes across our southern border of any day.
Right.
All right.
Right.
To Martha's Vineyard. they got rid of them. They called in the National Guard or the Army Guard, whatever it was, and got rid of them in like 36 hours.
Well, yeah, 44 hours. They said,
Okay,
and there was 150 guardsmen.
Yeah.
To exfil these 50 illegals.
Yes.
Illegal aliens is exactly what they were.
And in the meanwhile, they got like 1,000 empty summer homes there. Yeah. Okay.
No, that's a good perspective. And what I'm trying to figure out, when I read this, I was like, wait a minute, I couldn't get my head around it. Okay, put the migrant thing aside for a minute. Okay, that's debatable on some levels. How does this organization, it's a Chicago-based network of migrant-led organizations, so there's a bunch of different organizations, a bunch of illegals came over to the country and formulated this organization. Now, three of these, okay, with the migrant thing, I'll just go ahead and concede. Three of the migrants who landed in Massachusetts are now part of a lawsuit against DeSantis under the guise of premeditated, fraudulent, and an illegal scheme for the sole purpose of advancing their own personal, financial, and political interests. Now, these people aren't bilingual, by the way.
No.
But
have you seen the board of directors of Alliance Americas?
I have not, but that's the organization we're talking about.
Yes, and this is some shady joint. I could not find anything on their funding. They say connected with various civic help groups.
Yeah. They're probably backed by BLM.
You know who these guys are connected to: George Soros, Open Society Foundation, these government NGOs, which are down in Central America,
sure.
paying these people, paying them to be able to afford to come up here, and encouraging them. They're giving them paperwork, who to call when you get there, what law firm to contact, so that they'll take up your case. This is an attack.
It's an invasion. Yeah.
This is an attack on our country.
I love that
should be a national security threat.
Well, it is. It is a national security threat. If we only had a president with a responsible cabinet.
Yeah.
We don't have a president. You think we have a figurehead? He doesn't do shit. He doesn't even know when he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't even know his own name. All he is a stick figure, and he's being completely controlled 100%.
Well, this will rile you up a little bit more, that the claim of these are violated constitutional protections under the 4th, 14th Amendments and several federal statutes. You listen to this part. If that doesn't piss you off, because they don't have any freaking constitutional rights. Okay. In addition to seeking damages, they're also this I kept, because this is actually what the brunt of the whole action is. In addition to seeking damages, they're also asking the court to block DeSantis and others named in the lawsuit from inducing immigrants to travel across state lines by fraud and misrepresentation. Now, drop the fraud and misrepresentation, because they all have signed waivers. So that's what this whole thing is about. You can't send the illegals that we want to infiltrate your part of the world to our little white spot. That's
I guess only the federal government can put them on planes and buses and ship them all over the country wherever they want. That's okay. Yeah. In the darkness of night, so nobody sees. Yeah. That's okay. But what about our? I can't quote it to you exactly, but our 10th Amendment and the the state
responsibilities,
the federal and the federal government's responsibility. It is the federal government's sole responsibility to maintain our borders. Yeah. They are in violation.
Oh, no doubt.
It is so. You want to talk about the following the Constitution? They are shitting on our Constitution. They have too much control. The government needs to be broke down. We need to get rid of the federal government. Needs to just go down to their basic, fundamental. What they're supposed to be doing.
Federalist paper status.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs to be reduced 75% across the board. The military we could talk about,
It's in our Constitution. It's it's black and white.
Yeah, dude.
But like you told me, but it's safe to interrupt you, Paul. But you've said this. You've been preaching this to me for a while, that the United States, as we know it, is gone.
Yes.
It's just we're watching it collapse, and it's only going to be a matter of time before there is no Constitution, there is no federal government, there is no United States. It's going. I mean, unless something is done now, quickly, drastically, we've got no country.
Yeah, I don't think it's recoverable. And as for the Constitution, we have a name for it. We call it the magic paper, just like magic dirt. People come from everywhere and they step on the dirt, and all of a sudden they're Americans. Yeah, that's not how it works. But the Constitution ain't saving us. That's pretty plain to see to anybody who's paying attention.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what my opinion is in a minute, but kind of dovetail with everything you guys were talking about, this overnight attack. Remember we were talking about Hazleton earlier? I pulled up a little chart from 2000 to 2020.
Yeah, this is Obama.
Yeah, this would be Obama.
Same people who are doing it now.
Yeah, and this was the secret. Hazleton in 2000 was 94.1% white. Plus, there's a non-Hispanic in there, which is I believe a non-white Hispanic. And it was about a 5% Hispanic at the time in 2000. 2020, 63% Hispanic.
Yeah, and what 38%
white.
Yeah.
Where'd all the whiteys go?
Well, there's two things that happened. The Hispanics back in the day were bussed in or flown in midnight. Nobody knew it because nobody even knows where Hazleton, Pennsylvania is. Okay, so this was either an experiment or it was a highly contested area that needed to be converted.
Right. Well, I know where Hazleton. That's where the junkyard is.
Yeah, you do. But I'm generally speaking, nobody knows where Hazleton is. It's in the middle of no place.
And multiply that by 100 Hazletons across the country, or 500, or I don't know how many.
This was a bunch of frogs in a pot of cool water that got turned, and the heat got turned on, and that's what happened.
And here's the thing, they call you racist for pointing this out, but it's not. First of all, humans are racist. They prefer the company of people who look like them, who act like them, who have the same background as them. I wish all the success to each of the different groups, but they all need to go back to their original sandbox. Okay, what has happened here, and even Christians have fallen for this. We've fallen for the send me you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry, melting pot, multiculturalism. It is all a lie. That is the Tower of Babel 2.0.
Yeah.
And Christians have bought into it with a warm embrace. And they're the only ones who can fix it, in my opinion, because this has become a spiritual thing now.
It has been for a while. Back to my theory on the Constitution, because we all know that the Constitution are inalienable rights. These are God-given rights, and that piece of paper is simply there to enforce that.
It enumerates them. Yeah. Right.
So I'm trying to use small words tonight, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
we're all trust me, we don't have any stupid people listening to this.
No. And I'm drinking water, by the way, tonight. So my point is, like you said, the spiritual war. Fortunately, everything's kind of meshing tonight, so we're as usual, we're on the same page. These people aren't stupid. They know what the Constitution is. They know how it was developed. They know what it was developed on, based on. They know the basis of the United States, and they're attacking that. Remember, Paul, we just want to get married. This is another attack. That piece of paper is basically a confirmation of our God-given rights, and we can't have that.
Basically, it spells out what the government can't do to you.
Right. And we can't have that because God is directly involved. And when we say anti-Christ and anti-God, that's the, like you're saying, the Tower of Babel. Look at the ancient gods and where how we've derived our habits and
Sure.
our
Look
new
at our
progressivism.
child sacrifice right now.
Yeah.
All forms of debauchery and inversion. What's beautiful, what's ugly is now beauty to them.
Right. And that goes back to some of the golden calves. But anyway, let me jump in and play this Desantis clip. This is from I think when he was on Hannity. He was pretty much he's pretty he's pretty laid back and he it's kind of a defense thing, but it's kind of like in your face. But here it goes.
Well, Sean, it's really frustrating because you've been covering this. Millions of people since Biden's been president illegally coming across the southern border. Did they freak out about that? No. You've had migrants die in the Rio Grande. You had 50 die in Texas in a trailer because they were being neglected. Was there a freak out about that? No, there wasn't. You've had criminal aliens get across that southern border and victimize Americans, killing some, raping some. Was there any type of outrage about that? No. And then, of course, we know fentanyl deaths are at an all-time high. Where's that fentanyl coming from? It's coming over the open southern border. It's only when 50 get put into Martha's Vineyard, which wasn't saying they didn't want this. They said they wanted this. They said they were a sanctuary jurisdiction. These were people who were basically destitute and then put in a situation where they could have succeeded. But that was all virtue signaling. And not only did they not welcome them, they deported them the next day with the National Guard.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the real story. So, yeah, was it a troll? Yeah, probably.
Of course it was. I mean, 50 people is going to have zero impact, on his community. But, he has ambitions, and it was a smart play.
Yeah, he brought light to a system that needs to be fixed as well.
And that's also it. He's bringing light to these national issues that nobody wants to talk about. You won't see any. You'll see Fox News with their video of, yes, another 12,000 crossed the border this week.
Yeah,
and nobody else. Nobody.
I'll tell you what. If the Democrats were smart, and they're not really very smart, they would have embraced those 50 people. They would have wined and dined them, and they would have plastered it on the news, brought them to the beach, and slowly, when nobody was looking, shipped them out.
Good point.
I have something amazing to tell you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
That's what all of the Democrat media is saying. We welcomed them. What was the phrase? We were blessed by their presence.
Indelible mark of
That's what they're saying, is that this was a beautiful thing. That is what half the country is hearing right now, is that the Democrats welcomed them, fed them, gave them Ruth Bader Ginsburg T-shirts and Rice Krispies out on the patio. I don't know if you saw those photos, but
Rice Krispies.
Well, yeah. I really applaud you, Paul, for taking one for the team and watching those media outlets, because it was hard enough for me to read a part of an article from NBC.
Hey, I love you guys, so I'm on Twitter in your stead. All right. A statue would not be inappropriate, is all I'm saying.
Well, now that they're not going to give the what's his name the coronation, St. George, maybe there'll be room on a step for you.
Well, not to step off here, but I think I heard there's going to be room for a statue at Arlington Cemetery. I don't know if you heard that story.
Oh no,
they want to take down. I don't know if it's General Lee or whoever it is.
Oh, for crying out loud! We're going to get fired up on that one now, right?
Well, Amanda Milia said if they do this, she's going to go down there and chain herself to the thing like one of these Pantifa retards or BLM idiots. I might wind up down there with her.
Well, I got a little clip from, and I know Joe is really going to enjoy this because he likes himself some Karen Jean here, And
oh boy,
I was probably I thought I'd bring it in with some clown music, but we'll just go ahead and play it because she's awesome. She really is. I saw her. I did catch a bit.
You mean
on Fox News with her talking to one of the weekend off script one of the weekend shows, and it was hilarious.
You mean Karen? Our borders are secure, Jean Pierre.
Yeah.
One? Yeah.
I from now on and forevermore, her first name will now be Karen. And that's it. The whole Karine Jean Pierre. I don't know what the frig. What is she from Louisiana or something? But anyway, check this
out.
Is it
Karine? I don't know.
It's some. I don't know, but it's.
In my opinion, she's just diversity hire number 17.
Word of the planes heading to Wilmington. Who have you received word from? And has Governor DeSantis or somebody told the White House?
So I don't have the specifics of where we got word from. I can tell you that we've been closely coordinating with the folks in Delaware, the officials in Delaware. What I can tell you that our heads up did not come from Governor DeSantis, because his only goal is, as he's made it really clear, is to create chaos and use immigrants fleeing communism as political pawns. So it's about creating political theater for him. It's not about getting to a solution. We have a solution in front of us that we are happy to have bipartisanship on an issue that has been a broken system when we look at the immigration system. But certainly we did not get word from Governor DeSantis. Again, this is a political stunt, but we have been in close contact with the Delaware government.
But we don't know who the White House got alerted to.
I don't have specifics on on who alerted us. I can tell you we've been in close contact with the Delaware officials on the ground.
Okay, now
wait. Did she say they're fleeing communism? They're going to a country that's trying to go communist. So
yeah. Now I saw that story. I don't know, yesterday or the day before. One of these left-wing blue checks, Jed Legume, I think, who's a child sex predator, by the way, still allowed on Twitter. He tweeted it out. I guess he was tracking the tail numbers of those two planes and said one was heading to Delaware. And I heard a lot of people talking about it, but then it disappeared. Are you saying that it actually landed there with migrants, or do we not know that for sure yet?
Yeah, nobody knows.
Do you know the tail number?
Not off the top of my head, no.
You could look it up.
Yeah, well, there's photos of the planes at Marthas Vineyard, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I would assume you could get a tail number off of that. Or they may have gotten it just by flight records. I don't know.
Yeah, but she is I used to think she was pretty stupid, pretty much of a half a dimwit. But I'm telling you what, the way she shamelessly spews this stuff out. But what is she talking about? Yeah, she's talking about fleeing communism and blaming it on Trump, essentially. And that was a mild clip from what, it's Trump's fault because,
Yeah, what kind of a person can just knowingly spew lies and spins, knowing that it's bullshit?
A true believer.
Believer in what? What does she believe in?
She believes in the leftist agenda, the whatever evil Democrat agenda is for this country. It's a religion for these people.
Yeah, and it helps when you look in the mirror and you don't see a reflection.
Yeah, what is the end game for them? What do they think they're going to ultimately gain? What is the?
Well, here's my suspicion. Okay, they want to bring enough chaos into this country where they have to enact martial law and become a police state. Then that's the end. That's the end of everything.
Because they believe that's the beginning of the full control, which is what they seek.
Yeah. And then it doesn't matter. Then we just decide who gets what job where. Out groups like white Christians or Republicans will be shunned and who knows what. And the illegals who are not going to complain will be serfs, slaves, basically.
Well, and which falls in line with their history.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
That's what they do. It's despicable. And we talk about this, and maybe I sound like a broken record. You guys hear me say this all the time. This is a material party looking to gain material things. They're looking for earthly possessions. Somebody like a Nancy Pelosi probably thinks that she's going to wind up in a tomb wrapped in frankincense and gold. And somebody's going to there's going to be a procession, and then more people are going to piss on her grave than not.
They should just chuck her on a wood chucker, in a wood chipper.
Yeah, well, ruin a perfectly good wood chipper.
Well, right? The wood chipper is reserved for a specific group of people, and those are the ones that touch children. Okay.
Yeah.
Or
this is all going
to
backfire. It's a spiritual war, and I don't think you can overstate that. That's exactly what it is, and we all know how it ends. Now, that's not to say we're not going to see some bad stuff.
Yeah.
But we all know how it ends, and
we win in the end. That don't mean that we're not going to suffer.
Well, there'll be casualties. And when I say that metaphorically, just because. But yeah, it's to Joe's point. What do they want to get out of this? What they want to get and what they're going to get are probably two different things. What they want is the ultimate power, and that's why I have to concede that Paul's correct when it comes to the national police force or militarization or whatever you want to call it. The problem is that part of history has always failed. This country's too big. It's too diverse, if you will, for that to be successful. But if you go back to yet another point, how does somebody shamelessly sit there and spew lie after lie after lie, knowing it's a lie, but they believe in the mantra because they believe in the movement? It's the same reason. They think that they're righteous. If you're Hitler, they're in the right.
Yeah, he certainly thought he was the good guy.
Yeah.
That's the way it always is,
Right. But soon he found out that the righteousness freaking put a gun in his face,
Yeah.
Ironically by his own hands, but that's hardly the point. But yeah, they truly believe that they can pull us off, and they're so blinded that they don't even understand their own history. It's not going to happen. It may or may not to some degree, but the ultimate plan that they have won't be fulfilled before 50% of the people that are planning it right now are in the grave anyway. That's the part that always bothers me, but that I can't quite. It's pretzel logic.
Right. Yeah, the problem is, and I have this discussion with people who are much more educated than I am. They know more about history. I'm sort of like an idiot savant. You know what I mean? There are certain things that I can see better than other people.
Yeah.
But I don't have the classical education to back it up with history and all that.
Sure.
The thing is, it's different this time. Never before has a group of elites had the kind of power to sway people, control people through, and largely financial means. You talk about bloodshed.
Yeah, sure.
You start cutting off people's bank accounts so that they can't feed their families or start losing their homes. They're going to cave. We've already seen that through COVID.
Plus the inner city. It's a prime example of what they do. That's how they keep people indentured.
Yeah.
I think that social media and the internet and internet businesses have really made this. I can't think of the word exacerbated, whatever the hell the word
exacerbated.
Is. Yeah, that's it. Has made it. Think about this. You've got people that have become billionaires that really have no product.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I just watched. Was it last night? I think it was last night. Maybe it was the night before. Overnight, a live podcast, streamcast, whatever you call it, with Elon Musk, Kathy Woods. I don't know if you know this lady, but she's a big deal. She runs ARK ARK Investments, which is, big tech thing, and some other guy. I don't remember who the moderator was, but these people are nuts. And they were talking about Bitcoin. And this woman, when she was talking, I mean, she controls like, I don't know how many tens of billions of dollars. She's freaking insane, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of my point is that, well, just go back to the scamdemic, right? And if there's anybody that's listening to this and try to wrap your head around this, there's a group of people, an elitist group of people that cashed in, that made millions over the scamdemic.
Oh yeah.
The elite, rich people got richer, and they never shut down. They never missed a beat. Their lives never slowed down or changed. All us freaking peons that the government had their thumbs on and controlled, we're the ones that got hurt.
Yeah.
While those elitists made money hand over fist.
Right.
And
We
they're
got our
thriving
stimmy
over
checks. We got our stimmy checks, and they made billions.
Billions.
We made like 588 new billionaires during the pandemic.
And don't forget your one stimulus check under the Trump administration was compared to crumbs.
Yeah.
By Queen Pelosi.
Yeah.
So.
Trump made his own mistakes. I could see doing the first stimmy check. He went and did the second one. I think that was a mistake. The first one, when we had to shut everything down, or they thought they did,
right?
It just spiraled out of there because the Democrats saw a means to control.
The Democrats have, and this infuriates me, and I don't want to get down a rabbit hole, but there's an acceptable amount of death in the mantra, in the Democratic camp. Yes, we accept a certain amount of American lives to die as long as we can stay in power.
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. They will kill you to stay in power.
Yeah, they would have.
If that doesn't get you to your roots, then I don't know what the frig does.
Well, look at what in the nursing homes, people that died in the nursing homes, that was deliberate, and there was some outlash about it, but what ultimately happened?
Yeah, it did.
Nothing. Nobody was held responsible. It just went away, and there was blatant criminal act by politicians. And nothing.
Well, speaking of blatant acts of politicians, this Sheriff Javier Salazar from nowhere, Texas.
Bexar, I think.
Yeah, he's a Democrat. He's a pro baby killer. The whole 9 yards. I don't even understand how this happens. He's talking about charges. I'm looking into charges for Desantis, who, by the way, lives in Florida and shipped a bunch of people to Massachusetts. So how this guy fits in, it's beyond me. But listen to this jackass.
48 people that are already on hard times. They are here legally in our country at that point. They have every right to be where they are. And I believe that they were preyed upon. Somebody came from out of state, preyed upon these people, lured them with promises of a better life, which is what they were absolutely looking for, and with the knowledge that they were going to cling to whatever hope they could be offered for a better life, to just be exploited and hoodwinked into making this trip to Florida and then onward to Marthas Vineyard for what I believe to be nothing more than political posturing to make a point. When you're playing with human lives of people that are already in a desperate situation, people that, again, had every right to be where they were, but were lured under false pretenses, that does tend to bother me quite a bit. Political affiliation has nothing to do with it. It's doing the right thing. Traveling from another state to prey upon people that are just already in a desperate situation and then dumping them off at the risk of life and limb to them and to their children, that's a no-go for me, no matter what your party affiliation is.
Bullshit.
Life and limb, we brought them to paradise, man. We brought them to the ultimate vacation spot in the country.
Yeah, and let's be serious. This guy did not come up with this plan on his own. This was some legal group affiliated with
some cartel,
Alliance Americas, or the cartels. Who knows?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I was gonna pull it up, but I don't want to deep dive too much into this moron, because this guy's been his entire life as a cop in Texas, and he's anti-cop. He's a piece of crap. He's talking about
is he an elected official?
Yes.
Well, not for long.
He got in 2020, I think. He's talking about, he was making a big fuss about the Roe versus Wade, all that, the Supreme Court stuff. And he's talking about his 2 daughters. I have 2 beautiful daughters, he's saying, and it's not my right. They can do anything they want with their bodies. I certainly couldn't tell them as their father, and I certainly can't tell them as a, elected official. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, and I'm going to have to school Joe here. He's going to get elected overwhelmingly at the next election because whatever demographic put him in power, they are shall we say, having fantasies over what this guy is doing.
He was about 30% ahead of his Republican runner.
I mean,
where is he? Where in Texas is he from?
I think it's Bexar County.
Yeah, it's Bexar. Yeah. It must be blue out there.
Yeah. Obviously, it's blue.
Yeah. I had to top off the evening with him because, we don't. I hate to dump on Karen Jean-Pierre too much because she's a freaking moron with a pretty darn good job. But this guy, again, Joe, with the shameless. Like you said, how can they do that? Just shameless. Just spit this stuff out. Well, you know what? I guess if you get a briefcase full of money, hand it to you.
These people have no shame. They do not feel it. Yeah, and by the way, in a larger political sense, this attack against DeSantis is probably in large part due to his viability as a presidential candidate.
Oh, for sure.
Because they just want to smear him. I think, who was it? Was it you who told me about the New York Times article where DeSantis is worse than Trump?
Trump's actually getting complimented now.
Yeah.
That's funny. I heard that.
He's already been tarnished, so now they got to go after DeSantis and make sure that they, start smearing him because it's repetition.
What's going on here?
That's what works.
I guess you can't have 2 Hitlers, right?
You repeat. Oh, sure, you can have. We're all Hitlers. We're Mussolini, fascist. There's 74 million of us.
Yeah, but now Trump Hitler is he has smoother edges. He's got better stage presence.
Well, let's just be clear. You use the F word. The Democrats are the party of fascism. Let's be clear. I don't care. That is the fact. Democrats are fascists, and if you think otherwise, you're a moron.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. There's a lot of morons, and you're never going to convince anybody with that argument. That just
I don't care. I got to put it. I have to. It has to be said, and I said it, and that's
agree.
The truth.
And there is some cathartic reasons for saying stuff like that because it just feels good to get it out there, and it is true.
Well, one of the reasons why I think it has to be said, because if you listen to the fascist government-controlled news agencies, they'll tell you that the Republicans are, and they completely, like you were saying before, Paul, what's black is white, what's white is black. They reverse everything. Everything that they are, they're saying that we are.
So why can't we use that tactic?
And because we don't have them. We don't have enough media backing. We don't own all the media.
We don't have the infrastructure, and we don't have the backbone either.
No. But if you're listening to this, the truth is that the Democrats are the fascists.
Well,
the Democrats are evil. The Democrats are going to take this country down. And if you're a Democrat and you're following it because you've always been a Democrat, you better look and think twice and think with your heart, not with what's being fed into your brain.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The intelligence communities, the judicial branch, the FBI, the Department of Justice, 95% of the media are all aligned and coordinating with the Democrat Party. That is the definition. And not only that, social media companies, big tech companies that are censoring and changing definitions, changing search results. It is the definition of fascism.
Exactly.
But they will never. The Democrat voters will never understand that. It is beyond their ability for them to come to that realization. Their brains have been corrupted to a point where it's not possible. Well, it would cause them physical pain and maybe even illness.
Well, as portrayed by the outrageous actions of so many on the night of the Trump inauguration, there was just a sick display of I don't know what it was. When I saw those people, and you could still see the memes out there, when you saw how people reacted about a president that was elected, but it wasn't their guy, you knew that Stockholm was fully ingrained. It's pretty sad. It is pretty sad. And there were already low IQ people to begin with, because statistically you have to be. There's an old psychological, it's not a saying, but it's a fact. You can only brainwash people that are willing to be brainwashed. And unfortunately, low IQ people are more susceptible. I'm not a doctor, and I don't claim to be one, but I have stayed at a Hampton Inn before.
Yeah. So. Quality. Come on, man.
Well, actually, it's a Holiday Inn Express, but I was doing a little lucky bunker thing going on there. Which
yes, you're right. I think it is a Holiday Inn Express. Yeah.
Which is a perfect time to wrap this up.
All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Don't forget to press like on all that crap.
Yes, share it with your friends.
And what's our website?
It is shineboxconnect at gmail.com. Shineboxconnect at gmail.com. And don't forget, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, and all of the major podcast outlets as well.
That's right. And send us comments or suggestions for topics that you would like us to talk about. And we'll do them justice.
Yeah. And good night from the darkness of New Germany, and keep your powder dry.
Yeah, and good night from the jungles of Florida.
Good night, everybody.